Hey everybody, welcome to my first tutorial on Notion. I'm going to go through everything I've been dealing with for the last 2 months, getting my life organized. That means my day job, that means my personal tasks, and that means freelance clients that I'm juggling right now. So I needed a way for myself to deal with everything as I'm working from home, and I wanted everything to be in one system. I wanted everything to be in one place. So you may have heard of Notion before. It's a pretty new tool, I think. I guess it's been around for a couple of years, but I just heard about it 2 months ago, and I dove in with both feet. I I just started using it like crazy. It took up my whole life, but I developed this really cool system that I think you'll find useful if you have lots of work emails, if you juggle freelance clients, and if you just want to keep your life organized with note taking. So if you have cool notes, ideas that you want to turn into a blog post later, you can do that with Notion because everything links up to one another. That's the whole key. It's like a neural network that acts as a second brain for you to help do your work better and more efficiently. And it updates itself every day according to your due dates, so you'll know what to work on next as long as you log your stuff. So I'm going to go through this. Now, this is a template, so you can download this in one click. You can get exactly what you see in this video on the dashboard. It's going to be really easy for you to get started. You don't have to spend hours like I did configuring custom views and custom dashboards to make your work easier. You can just use these and then modify them. All right, so let's get started. Here's my 30-day momentum template. I wouldn't even call this a dashboard. It's just the first screen you'll see that has, I'm going to call these sections, okay? So we have action items, essential activities, social networking, and ideas and examples. This one here just ties into some other tags that I will get into later. It's not really a big deal, but for you, you'll probably want to have some kind of a database where everything links up. But I've made little cheat sheets here for all the filters that I've used to get to show work from the last 30 days, for example, or to show tasks that were completed last week, or I just want to show things that are only due today or before today that are past due that aren't completed or on pause and they aren't waiting for a reply. So this is kind of like one of the more complex custom views that I made, but everything's here as a cheat sheet for you, so don't feel discouraged if you just want to start off and do this on your own a little bit and borrow from this template, because that's what it's here for. It's just here to help you out. Okay, getting into action items. So the key to action items is that it combines all non-repeating tasks into one dashboard. So here's how my action items is set up. It's very similar to what you just looked at. It's a little bit different. But right off the bat, you're going to notice that there's a personal calendar embedded here, because I think for your action items, you're probably going to want to have some kind of a personal calendar in the mix outside of Notion. If you're used to using Google Calendar like I am, you're going to want to have that in here. So what I've done with my action items here is I've embedded a Google Calendar right here. And how I've done that, and here's your first notes for how to use Notion. This is like one of the most important things. It even tells you right here on the screen, type / for commands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embed my Google Calendar, and I'm just going to show you really quickly how fast that is to do. Before I do that, let me go get my Google Calendar link and just show you how this works, okay? So if I were to go to my calendar and I were to go and show settings and sharing, okay, you're going to have to make your calendar public. So by default, this is not checked. Okay, you're going to want to have to keep it public for this to work. It's just the way it is. All right, I made mine public. Then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find this public URL, okay? I'm going to triple click it, Command A, Control A, so it's all selected. Copy it. We're going to go back here, and I want to just do a / embed. Hit Enter, return, Command Control V, and that's it. And then you can just make it bigger or taller or however you see fit. So that's how you embed a personal calendar. I'm going to show you on the template how that works. Again, is if you were to go here and you wanted to embed this, you're going to want to, let's do it below this, do a backslash again, start typing the word embed, hit return, paste in your calendar, and you have yourself a customized Google Calendar. All right, so action items. This is where we're at now, and I'm going to walk you through how your template is set up and how it's structured and how the views I have in place are designed to keep you on track. Okay, so action items has a few different things here on top, and feel free to modify these, add your own stuff to the top of this. This is just things in the template that I thought would be useful to include for examples. So we're going to get to this in a second because this all makes sense in a minute. But right now I just want you to see that my action items, which is one of 4 sections that I'm going to cover in this video, this is designed for your non-structured tasks from multiple sources. And I'm going to just call it a dashboard because you can have your day job stuff come here, you can have your freelance work come here. I have other stuff too that comes in here sometimes, and it all just gets filtered into the same place. So if I need to ask myself, well, what do I need to do today? What are my number 1 things to do to work on? I can just go here, as long as I've logged it, of course. Unless you have an assistant to do it for you or something, but it's going to all be here under my action items list. So let's go through this. We have your personal calendar, which I've already showed you. You can embed that there in your template. And then you have your work active tasks, which I'm just going to call those my day job tasks or your day job tasks or whatever you want to do if you have more than one source. And then you have your business tasks, which is your company, your freelance work, the things that you really are probably going to be focusing on the most as far as growing your business. There was a reason why I have multiple views of business tasks here, and I only have one view of the work tasks here, because when I wake up, and I'm working from home right now, but when I wake up, I know I have to get my day job stuff done first. So I like to keep that on top. And it usually goes no further, but then I like to also click on my work dashboard and see maybe I have future things I can work on and get out of the way. I can see what I'm waiting for a response, because if I was waiting for a reply, I would have this checked and it would populate. If I had something like, well, you know what? Let's just go to my actual dashboard and I can show you maybe a better example. Okay, so my personal dashboard, you can tell because I have the Google Calendar here. Here's my work items. Same thing. Work items here is going to go to my work dashboard. All right. So you're obviously going to want to add stuff to your dashboard too, but this is all the same stuff that was included in the template. So if I've started learning more about DaVinci Resolve, I could then move it to in progress. Okay. And doing that based on my filter of getting things accomplished and done before moving on to the next thing, you can see how I have kind of a hierarchy here going on. I give it a priority, I give it a status, and then an activity, okay? So if I go to my sort, it's sorted by status, priority, and due date. You could totally change these around. If you want a due date to be the most important thing, you could do that. That's fine. The real point of this, for work dashboard at least, for how I'm using it, is that I keep my today and past due dates on top. And by the way, whatever you have on top, if you were to share this with somebody later, that's what they're going to see by default. So like in a browser, for example, if I were to go to a browser and show you this, you see my today and past due dates are showing up just like they do on the app. In fact, this looks almost identical. But look at this. This one here showed up as a table view for some reason. I'm not sure why I did that. I don't know if I changed that later or not, but the point is what you have on top here is what's going to show up in the browser, okay? And the way that I had this set up, which I just went over, I choose by priority. Of course, you could totally not even have a priority order and you could just use due dates. And you could have it as simple as just having due dates and then having it sorted, with the due date as ascending. Okay? I've already explained a little bit about how I have tasks that I'm waiting for responses for, and then also things that are on pause. For my day job, I have a final approval stage when I have to get things approved from like my boss or anybody like that who's above me. So what I usually do for that kind of stuff is I will just have a check. This check mark doesn't matter at all, but it's really the final approval stage. So, and by the way, if you were to create a new task by clicking the new button here, it would automatically assume you're trying to do what that custom view is for, okay? Which we're not trying to do that. So usually what I'll do for tasks when I'm adding them is I'll just click on the new field here, click on the new field here, and I'll just go ahead and fill out all the information I need to. To create one of these customized views, right? I'm going to do a backslash and type in link, and I'm going to create a link database. And then from that link database, yours could be work items, it could be, your business tasks, whatever you want it to be. You create linked database views that have custom filters on your sections, which include pages. So just so you understand, that's how I've set all this up. That's why I made this template, because you could just duplicate it, use what I have, and just modify things around. Totally cool. All right, so one more thing before I move into essential activities, and that is going to be how to quickly move around due dates, if they're soft deadlines, of course, around your calendar in a visual way, which now you can see how it will automatically update each list. So in today and past due, which you're very familiar with how that's set up, here it is again. Here's my filter. It's today or it's before today. It's not completed. It's not on pause. And it's not going through final approval because I've already taken action on it, right? And I also have it set so waiting reply isn't checked and reminders are not checked. However, sometimes I like to go through and look at board view, which will give me a different way of looking at things. I could just see what's not started, and I could just see what's in progress here. This is familiar with like the Trello view. This is, at least that's how I think of it. That's how it looks. And then there's also calendar view. So here's what I'm talking about. If you want to move things around and you see how many things we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things. Let's go to calendar view, active and waiting for reply. You can see how I have the check marks right there. That stuff is determined by my properties. This is everything I have that is checked. You could obviously go crazy and start checking more, but that's ridiculous. So if I want to move this stuff around, I just start moving it around. Now, remember the filter is today and past due. So if I bumped all this stuff up a little bit, which I know doesn't look the best here, but hey, this is the example. It's like I move things up, all right? Now, what do you think's going to happen? I'll keep that one there. When I look at my today and past due dates, maybe I'll just move 2 things. I should only see 2 things show up. And there it is. And now everything else that's future related is going to be under the future tasks. Okay? You could obviously move, if you highlight things in Notion, you could, in theory, move this stuff like that. If you wanted to have it like that, because you've already taken action on these tasks, maybe that's a better way of looking at it. So I'm just going to undo that. But anyways, you understand how this works. Everything is dynamic, and it adjusts accordingly. So that's my work dashboard. It works the same way for your action items. It works the same way. If you want to start moving things out of your today and past due day, if you've maybe taken on too much, like I have, and then you got distracted and you started doing this program for the last 2 months and everything else became secondary, yeah, you're going to get behind on things. So you move things around and then your life becomes more manageable. So hopefully this helps, and we're going to get into essential activities next.